I love is the variety, the people, problem solving, and standing back with our clients and going, wow, look what we've transformed.
So many things to love about being a carpenter. You get to work with others, so there's like really great teamwork. You're using your body every day. You get to see visual progress of what you've completed in a day. There's no day where you don't learn something new.
I love the feeling of satisfaction once I've completed a task that's been given to me. I love my hands being part of the process in building a beautiful masterpiece that families call home.
As corny as it sounds, I think it's just we get to work with all sorts of people at every level, and all of them just come from their own specialised skills.
I love that every day you're out there doing something new, you're constantly learning, and you're surrounded by people who are some of the probably most toughest and hardworking people in the world.
Being a woman in construction comes with its own challenges. There is a sort of lingering pressure to prove your worth.
Having my first year on site was incredibly challenging for me.
It was a major challenge to feel like I had no direction in life. I was like, where am I at? And I was in a very deep depression, and I struggled to feel motivated.
About a year ago I had a back injury, which it was kind of stupid at the time, but I kept pushing through and going to work and just putting up with it and thinking it'd get better, but it never did, to the point where some days I was struggling to walk. It was actually demoralising. I was so close to the end of my apprenticeship.
Being a business owner has its challenges, and eventually I was physically exhausted every day because it was flipping hard work. I had lots of big contracts to do, and I was hands-on, physically going home, having to then to do emails. Oh, sure, but I have to pay the GST and blah, blah, blah. So it did take a lot of mental capacity and physical capacity to be able to handle that.
Yeah, I realised that I was coming to work not fully myself, and I care about my role and I give it 100% all the time, but sometimes when, you know, life throws you curveballs and you can't really handle things the way you normally would, we tried to just operate at 100%, and yeah, my 100% looked like 60 at that time.
You're no good to your employer if you're pushing yourself to the limit that you're going to burn out. Sometimes it's okay to put your hand up and say this isn't working for me, or I'm not really coping, and taking a step back and putting your health, mental and physical health, first in order for you to be able to go forward successfully.
Definitely an outdoors baby, so hiking, surfing, walking, all those things are what really grounds me and sort of like refreshes me for the week.
The main thing I do is to get out in nature. I think that's the most important thing that I do. If I can pair catching up with friends and getting out into nature, whether that be going to the beach or going for a nice walk in nature, I think that really helps.
Yeah, I have a chat group with other tradie women in the Wellington region, and if I've had a challenging day or I'm struggling with anything, I can just put a message in the chat and they're really quick to give their support.
Learning not to compare myself to others was a big thing, because I found that used to drive down my self-confidence.
I am passionate about dancing. That's what I do. So I love to dance. I wake up in the morning sometimes and I head down to K Road. There's a little bar there, and we meet at 6:30 in the morning, and there's about 100 of us, and we put on some amazing rave music and we dance our little bums off. And I tell you what, it is the most delightful, inspiring, uplifting way for me to de-stress.
At the end of the day, I think the biggest piece of advice, which is something I've only recently learned, is just being your own bodyguard and knowing what you can take on and what you can't.
I've sort of looked at my morning routine as well, and I now have carved out 5 minutes to actually sit with my cup of tea or coffee and just either do a few breaths, so like a little bit of breath work, and write down an intention for the day. And I think making that routine incredibly easy to follow and not onerous, I've been able to merge that quite seamlessly into my day, and I look forward to knowing that I'm not having to rush to the car. I've left myself 5 minutes where I can just sit down enjoy it, and then go.
I love gardening. I found a hobby that was for me. And when I do it, I can totally switch off from the world. I'm in my own place. I can have a terrible day at work, come home, dive into some gardening, and it's like tending to life that doesn't talk back.
I'd say finding your why, like the reason why you go to work every day, why you get up, and why you want to be excited about life, and almost putting it on a pedestal in your head and prioritizing it and just making sure that it gets done. Whether it's going to the gym, working in your car, I don't know, fighting fires, it could be anything.
Looking after yourself first so that you can then look after others is really important.
You have to start with yourself. You've got to include yourself in the thoughts. You've got to respect yourself. You have to inspire yourself. And all those negative talk in your head has to be changed into something positive. It's about you. It's about your amazing uniqueness that we need to add that into the construction industry.